Cool. Phoebe, thank you very much for making the time.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've got a pretty great perspective having been in the insurance industry and then come out and founded Brawley. Can you just give us a little flavour of the state of play of insurance today and what you think is good about the industry and maybe less good and what needs to change?
Sure. I mean, I guess what's good about the industry is that it's a very large industry, and it's an industry that's required. The economy relies on it, and people, need to have certain areas of their lives protected. And the insurance industry does facilitate that largely quite well. I would say where it's fallen short is that customers really expect something different today, and that's not really being served by the current market. And that is very much where I see the role of technology companies is to come in and solve some of those things that customers are facing. And what
are customers expecting today? I have my own view of insurers, and I try not to cloud that conversation. Yeah. So what are you saying that customers want or are missing from current insurers, or the whole process maybe?
Interestingly, so when I was working in the industry, when I would tell anyone that I worked in the industry, they would then give me the rhetoric of all of their life problems and insurance problems. So while I was in the industry, it was quite interesting because I was learning a lot about where customers were, experiencing certain difficulties, and that could be in the understanding of it. So I believe that I'm buying this product, but when I come to claim, I'm not actually protected. Like I thought my bicycle was covered under my contents insurance, and it's not.
So there's a mismatch between your expectation and then almost the small print.
Exactly. And no one reads that small print. Maybe someone does, but the majority of people do not. And there's the understanding piece, and the only real way to get advice is if you go and speak in person to a broker or an independent financial advisor. There's not an automated process. So understanding is really huge. The other is really managing insurance, and customers today are buying, because of the way that the market has developed over the past few decades. Traditionally, you could only go to a broker to get your insurance 25 years ago. You couldn't go direct. Then
you went to a human being.
You went to a human being. They get to know you. They would present the options to you. They would facilitate that insurance on your behalf. Claims would be dealt through them. The whole spectrum. Now, most people, and it's definitely moving more and more in this direction, is self-serving. Going to price comparison websites, going direct to websites, going to your bank. There's a number of different options. And whilst this has been great in terms of people being able to have a bit more autonomy over what they're doing, what it's been coupled with is a huge fragmentation. Because people are buying in lots of different channels. All of those channels are delivering their information and insurance to them in different ways. And what you end up with is a portfolio that's very broken.
And hard to manage.
Hard to manage, very broken, and customers are struggling with that. And that feeds into how they buy, because it takes them a long time to understand what they had last year, what they need next year, and there's a whole host of problems. And what was just striking was no one was really tackling the little things. There was a lot of how can we do a huge change in the way that we manage data, or a connected home. Is this really what customers are struggling with? Connecting their fridge to the internet? No. They actually want to know that they're not being completely screwed over. And I think it's more trying to zone in on making things easier and more transparent and more accessible to people in the way that they've come to expect from other technical solutions in their lives.
And what about the whole sort of loyalty issue? Because my sense is you almost sort of get penalised for being loyal to current insurer. Is that something you see, or is that just have I got a slightly strange window on that?
You have a very clear window. Yes, loyalty it's bizarre. Most industries, if you're loyal, you get rewarded. In insurance, you get penalised. The FCA is looking into this right now. In one of their studies of a few 100,000 customers, they found that after 5 years, loyal customers paying, I think, 70% more than new customers when you cancel out risk factors. So your premiums are going up. And we hear this all the time from our customers.
It's just inertia, right?
It's inertia.
People are too busy.
People don't shop around and your premiums go up. And we hear the same story again and again. Oh, I realised that, I got my renewal through. I haven't looked at it for a few years.
Yeah.
I decided to check out, I'll go online and see what they're quoting me at the same company and it's £200 cheaper. How can this happen?
Yeah.
And then I phone up and they say, oh, it's because X, Y, and Z. But you really feel...
At that point,
how many hundreds have I lost?
Sort of slips out of the equation, doesn't it? You feel, and then you start to wonder whether they're actually going to be there when you need to claim.
Yes.
So obviously you set up Brawley. What are you setting to do? What problems are you setting to solve there? And what is Brawley?
What is Brawley?
Yeah.
We have a very clear longer term vision, which is around true personalisation.
Okay.
Where we understand each customer across their entire lifestyle.
Yeah.
And we just make sure they're protected. In the shorter term, we are trying to tackle the problems that people are facing today, and we group those into 3 key areas.
Okay.
So that's understanding, managing, and buying insurance, and simplifying those processes. So for understanding, we have the Brawley Advisor, and that takes customers through a quick test. You tap through questions on the app. And then we build the ideal portfolio for you, and it shows you where you're missing products, where you're missing coverage, and it educates you on why you need them, how crucial they are to your life.
And does that check your existing insurance as well?
It does.
It's basically okay.
Yeah.
So do you have algorithms or machine learning actually scrolling through existing documentation?
So that's the second part, which is the locker, and that's helping people to manage in one place.
Right.
And we have a few ways of onboarding, but that's where we're really strong.
Okay.
Because we have an email scanner, and a huge majority of our customers connect their emails, and we scrape out their insurance policies and populate their locker, and that's very quick.
And then you can see the gaps between where they think they've been covered and they're not.
Yeah, we see people with 3 of the same policy. They're really overinsured, and they're just not aware, of how many policies they actually have, and it can be quite shocking. Seeing that you're paying a few £1,000s, and I guess you've got examples where your travel insurance might be covered by your credit card already, but you've taken out separate travel insurance, you're paying twice. Exactly, and it's trying to streamline that more. And then in the future how that will develop, because right now it's still in beta. But in the future we'll be able to do smart insights and letting you know that we've shopped around the market on your behalf and found a better product for you, and it's trying to preempt things before customers have to do them. So rather than that customer waiting and having to start that process from scratch and go and spend, we've already got all of their information. So and we keep prompting them to answer a few more questions, and it's meant to be quite fun to do, so that when you come around to get your home quote, well, you don't even need to answer anything because we've already done that process. And then finally is the shop. So the shop we're launching this summer, which is really exciting. And it's the number 1 requested feature by our customers, which is when can I actually buy policies through the app, because that completes the cycle.
And they're buying other people's policies, so not your own?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're kind of that'll be a sort of, you probably hate me saying it, but it's sort of insurance comparison site on steroids, is it effectively?
Yeah.
That's sort of...
Good steroids.
Good steroids, yes. Yes, good steroids.
Yes, although a key difference would be a price comparison website doesn't own you as a customer. So once you do a quote on a price comparison website, you're pinged off to another website to complete the purchase. And then it's again delivered.
You'll deal with it all here.
Ours is, we own the customer, we're the broker in the relationship. And you pay through the app, your policy, you buy it immediately in your locker. And then we have that relationship with the customer.
So you're almost sort of taking that 30-year-old model of a human being and rebuilding it with algorithms and, I guess, artificial intelligence, etc.
Exactly.
And what about the claim side? Is that side something you'll touch on, or would you leave that for the insurers?
So we will, but we won't. I mean, we're not going to build a call centre or anything like that. But we will find ways that we can collect certain bits of information and streamline that process. But ultimately, it will be the underwriter who deals with the claim and fulfills that claim. But we'll be making sure throughout the process that we're monitoring what people are claiming for, so we can see if people keep claiming for something that they think they're covered for. How can we preempt that from happening in the future and start to realise where? Because a lot of the time people don't actually understand in what scenarios insurance will protect them. You know, there has to be an insurable cause, an event that causes a financial loss. I remember having a conversation with one customer who said, there's a tile that's going to fall. I can see it's going to fall through the conservatory and smash the conservatory.
A roof tile.
Yeah, and it's going to cost, you know, thousands and thousands of pounds. Could you send someone over? And this was when I was at Aviva. Could you send someone over to come and look at this? And they said, well, there's not been an insurable event yet, but you've also just now told us that this is going to happen, so it's not an unexpected event. So the customers kind of put themselves in a situation where they're not going to be protected
by trying to be helpful.
And that's a really, really, really awful scenario where, you know, insurance, okay, well, it's meant to protect you when things go wrong, but what about actually protecting you before things go wrong?
Interesting. And what about the whole trust angle? So obviously you're a new brand coming into the market. How do you look to build trust? And trust as a whole is quite low in corporate bodies, etc. And I suspect insurance is no different. But how are you at Brawley build trust with your customers?
I would say people have lost a lot of trust with insurance already.
Yeah.
And
so you're starting at a low base, which is a good thing.
Although, you know, we're a tech company. We're a tech company first and foremost, and our product's in insurance, and it's trying to help people with their insurance. And you know, customers do tend to trust startups, particularly the emerging generation, tend to trust startups in a different way to the traditional bank or insurance company.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, once they have a certain experience for us where we can demonstrate that we're on their side, it becomes a lot more human.
Yeah.
And I think coupled with that, I mean, the way that we're presenting our brand, you know, we're very open in the way that we do things. We invite our users to do interviews with us, to test our product. I mean, even I've just got off the phone with a customer right now, testing our new design, and we try to involve people as much as we can. And I think, you know, actually bringing people on the journey with us and kind of in a way exacerbating the problem that people are having and saying, you know, we're here, we're with you, we get this, and we're here to help solve it, but we want you to be involved in that too. I think it's a very different approach to how insurance companies go about that.
That's kind of completely interlinked with the customer experience.
100%.
Yeah. And you mentioned your customers. Do you have a target customer group in mind, target audience?
Yeah. I mean, it tends to be people that, I mean, our early adopters are those that are quite engaged with the technology already. They're already using lots of other, you know, financial apps, Ubering everywhere, Airbnb, and but our customer base right now are those that already have multiple insurance products, so they are, you know, growing their asset base, and but you know, generally people that are quite switched on to technology.
And is there a kind of age group? So if you speak to, if I from the podcast I've done, if I speak to some of the kind of neobanks, as they're called, or the startup banks, they'll be going, our customers are smartphone first, the people who spend their lives on their smartphone, etc. Is that similar to yourselves?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so.
But I guess there's potentially enough assets there that insurance becomes applicable. But I guess you've got travel insurance, all of that's applicable to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, even our younger customers, I mean, the average age is sort of early to mid 30s.
Okay.
But we get younger customers, and they're already, you know, they've got the travel, the gadget, contents, car. Yeah. So they're already, you know, taking
So they'll come to you
products
first and probably not use anything else in the end. Ultimately,
I think once people come to us, it'll be hard for them to leave because our experience makes things so much more convenient. And we've done a lot of user testing and asked specific questions around what are the areas that are most aggravating for you. And people have already gone and written those, you know, emotional stories.
I could write quite a long essay if you asked.
You know, we asked that question and we were just blown away by the response. And the number one was convenience over price. Yeah. And that was really interesting for us. And it also validated, you know, what we thought, because price is important, but I think people think that price is the only important thing in insurance, and it's not. People want to know that they'll be protected when they need to be protected, and it's value.
Yeah, to me that's one of the key things, isn't it? It's one of those strange things that you almost don't know what you're buying, and when you're buying you're buying something you're not going to need in the future. Whereas if you buy a TV or a camera, you're getting it there and then, and so you're almost hoping you don't need it as a service.
Yes.
So it's a tricky one.
I guess we want to get people away from thinking it's a grudge purchase to actually this is a purchase that's empowering me because I have this, I can now go and do X, Y, and Z. And it's more,
that's
switching
a great way
the
of
way of
looking
thinking
at it.
about it.
Yeah. And how are the established players reacting to Brawley and businesses like yourselves?
Quite positively.
Okay.
I would say, and I think that's because they see the value in what we're providing to potentially their customers. Because we are partnering with insurance companies, and
when you knock on their doors, what sort of reception do you get? You kind of,
I mean, we actually get a lot. Most of our partners coming to us to say that they want to work with us, which
is a great sign.
Which is great, and I think that's mainly because we are, increasing financial literacy, making sure that customers are aware of what they're purchasing, and also the type of the risk quality that we're able to get through our customer base. I mean, fraud is one of the biggest issues in insurance. It costs the insurance industry billions every year.
Right.
Whereas our customers, because we're doing quite a lot of profiling and really getting to know different aspects of their life, we can quite accurately say that this is not a customer that's going to claim, so they're a low risk customer. So having that understanding, and also the cross-selling side, because if someone buys travel insurance through us, well, they also have a home, and they also probably drive a car, and they also, may have children. So and there's the whole lifestyle element, and I think that's where the market really is not winning, is because it's that fragmentation. No one's able to take Richard and look at Richard as an entire holistic entity. They only have bits of you.
They have a car part or they have a house part. Well, it seems like you've positioned yourselves very cleverly, where you've almost allowed the industry to carry on doing what they've always done and not change, and position yourselves as the innovator in the middle that is actually friendly to the insurers, because you'll help them sell more products, get to know their customers, and help their customers at the same time. Kind of. Are you seeing that the conversations you're having and the presence of, say, Brawley in the industry and indeed other fintech startups or insurance startups, is that starting to drive innovation within the established players, the big players? Or is it too difficult for them?
They're all trying in their own ways. I mean, quite a few have got sort of internal incubator programs, and others are partnering with startups, underwriting product lines. But I'd say it's like true change from the incumbents. It's very difficult for them to move, and that's not just. I mean,
they've got existing
the
business
systems
model.
are so old. I mean, my first day I was using a mainframe system to underwrite risk, and these are the systems that were built in the sort of 60s and 70s in COBOL, and it's difficult for them to change that. But also, I mean, these are large companies, tens of thousands of employees, so it's a cultural thing as well. Being able to bring out new products or new ways of doing things, it just takes a long time. So I think it will be startups that really change the market, but it can really be supported by insurance companies, and we need that support.
Absolutely. It's good. Their mindset slowly changing.
I mean, they have a role to play. A huge role to play.
Not least to provide the policies. And I guess one of the things that always interests me, where you're looking at transforming or changing the industry, and you've got a background in insurance. Would you see you bringing people into the team from an insurance background, or actually do you want people from elsewhere, kind of, I don't know, Spotify's user experience, etc., so that you're, or do you see a mix? What's when you're looking at how your team shapes out, not necessarily in functional roles, but just in kind of mindset and knowledge?
So it's a really, really important point, and one that we've thought a lot about, even when we were, looking at the types of advice that we want to get. And our advisors are people that have built and scaled huge startups rather than people that have worked in insurance for 30 years. Interestingly, so one of our first hires is a machine learning engineer,
Okay.
And she's working on how we use AI in things like looking at pricing differently.
Yeah.
And we're sort of saying, actually, why use an actuarial model when we can look at this as a problem and it can be solved by the technology that we have available to us today? And she's approaching that with a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, we will consult with actuaries and people that are experienced in certain parts of the industry, but we want to take a fresh look at it, and we believe that we can do that. But as we grow, we will need more people with insurance expertise, particularly in our customer success team, for instance, when customers have queries about insurance. I won't always be available to answer them. So right now, of course I help out as much as I can with that. Everyone in the team is becoming insurance experts themselves. I have CII books dotted around the office. No, we will hire people with insurance backgrounds into certain roles. For instance, partnerships is probably insurance is really helpful as background, not
to know how they
necessity,
they think and act.
It's a good question. We will have some people in the team with expertise, but mainly we're not.
Okay. Interesting. And what are your big challenges at the moment as you sit here?
Our big challenges. Hiring.
Okay. Hiring all across the board, or engineers and data and machine learners?
I think engineers are difficult to hire. So it's trying to find ways that we can get people in. And we're not always going to compete on things like salary, but there are other reasons why people would, we have quite a compelling business
it's
that
passion
people would want
and desire
to join.
to change the world, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's what pulls the team together, is a shared vision. And it's not about, how much they're being paid or the perks. It's like, actually, we're in this together, and this is a huge problem that we're tackling. That's why it's so
pain
exciting.
Everyone feels, right? Yeah.
Although people in the team don't necessarily even have insurance, but they know that this is an issue. So we're all sort of like aligned on that, and I think the culture there is really important. So I'd say hiring is a big challenge. And then, as with everything, scaling, and we're launching this year. So
that's really exciting.
Building up our launch campaign and getting customers into the app. Is that
summertime launch? When can people?
Summertime launch. When the sunshine comes back out again.
That's great. And when you look in the space, and maybe it's fintech or just in the startup world, are there businesses or individuals, entrepreneurs that you particularly aspire to or kind of learn from? As you're sort of getting to the stage now where you're looking to sort of launch and scale the business?
I always refer to one of my strong mentors / role models, which is Alice Bentinck from Entrepreneur First. So she was actually the person that told me I should quit my job while I was still in insurance. So I have a lot to owe to her for kind of giving me the prod to go down this path. But Wendy White, so she's also a general partner at Entrepreneur First, and she's our advisor. So we spend a lot of time with her, and she's built and scaled and exited a large tech company. And it's just hugely important to have. And for me, I guess having role models that I actually know myself is really important, because I can
need the personal relationship.
But then I read a lot as well, so I'll read about other founder journeys and books about motivation and different frameworks for working, and we're always learning, we're always trying to figure out what worked for other people and how we can build the right environment here.
Great. That sounds very exciting journey ahead. Final question. 5 years time, how do you want Brawley to look and feel? What do you expect? Where do you paint a picture of Brawley? Just UK? You're going to be international, or kind of
we might be international by that point, because of the technology that we're building. So we hope that in 5 years' time, it's just not obviously just Brawley. Everything's on Brawley. That's where your personal insurance is. And you've built so much of your life into the product that it's just running in the background, and that's the ultimate vision, is that Brawley is that caring single utility that
That's a great. I like the vision. You know, Brawley running in the background, sorting out all my insurance headaches.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's just
a great
one bus
vision.
in your cupboard.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Phoebe, thank you very much.
Thank you so
great
much.
chatting to you. Thank you.
You too.